Hello everybody, welcome back. So we're gonna have a look at EOS, an old friend of ours from the channel. EOS, you know, we've had some ups and we've had some downs with EOS. But before we go into any further details, if you could just like and subscribe to the channel, it'd be really appreciative. And if you want to take it one step further, you can join the Patreon as well. Right, so this is the deal. All right, things are looking a little bit more interesting than they were previously in the market as a whole, but for EOS also. So I'm not one for fundamentals; it's not really my thing. But it doesn't hurt to know that the bullish exchange is, you know, it's in the pipeline, likely to be released at some point this year. I did get sort of access to it early, and I have to say, I wasn't a big fan, you know, and that's just me. I wasn't a big fan of what I was looking at, but that might just be me stuck in my ways, you know. I'm 36 now, and you know, I'm an old man, and I don't like change. I'm very resistant to change. But yeah, I thought it would look better than it did. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it wasn't. It just didn't look good enough for me. But you know, don't judge a book by its cover. I'm sure it's going to be epic, and even so, it should help the token of EOS, even if it's just a little nudge to the up. And that, to me, is good. That's all it should take. Because as far as I'm concerned, the charts are what matter. And if we do get little nudges up through whatever reason, so long as it doesn't end up being a parabolic FOMO, I'm all right with it. So that we are at an area now of, I suppose, decent relevance, which is this area here, this $5 and 20. Well, it's a bit of a rough zone, but more or less $5.25 we'll call it. This corresponds to previous tops, previous resistances, and where we broke down from dramatically. This basically was never supposed to have been touched again. We should have gone up to resistance, back down, up, break through resistance, up to new resistance, turn previous resistance to support, all the way up to the first exit point that we had, about between $13 and $14, and then back down to this should have been the support. But if it wasn't for the bloody market, coming down and crashing, EOS took one hell of a nosedive. One hell of a nosedive. One of the worst looking coins out there, I have to say, for that pullback over a period of 2 weeks. It came down 75%. Pretty bad stuff. Really bad, actually. So obviously, let's not dwell on the fact that it did that, but it did. So you have to recognise that that was pretty dreadful stuff. Anyway, EOS is a bit of a lagger as far as top cap coins are concerned. It definitely lags, and it has basically lagged the entire market. The reason for the majority of that is that some of the all-time high for EOS was put in a bear market in 2018. And then it was obviously subject to the rest of the market bringing it down, just like XRP in a way, finding itself in a very long multi-year consolidation pan. And this is why I got excited about it in the first place, because that zone broke and this ended up being an accumulation period, and then we got a nice signal on a weekly, and which led to this move. Now we don't have any of those kind of joys at the moment. We really don't. So we don't have the same kind of fix that we had back down here, and this was a great place to have bought it, and this was a great signal to have continued holding it and to even buy more in this dump here. But now, unfortunately, we're kind of trading not blind, but it unfortunately is going to be level by level, and looking to reclaim certain areas. Now, like what I said about the bullish exchange, that's one thing. There's also another thing that you're probably aware of, the Bitcoin dominance chart, which is appearing to break down already, which does lend itself to, I suppose, an alt season. Even if it'll be a smaller one, it won't be anything like what we saw in January. It'll be a small, as far as time-wise is concerned. I don't think it's going to last for a great deal of time. But we could already argue, I suppose, that we are kind of in it. I wouldn't say we're already in it until we see an actual breakdown of some certain levels, but we more or less are just on the verge of beginning an alt season. And something you probably also have noticed is that top cap coins seem to be the ones that are getting a lot of moves. And when the top caps move, that's the way it's supposed to be. Top caps first, mid caps next, small caps after, rotate back into Bitcoin. That's usually the process of an alt season. It wasn't like that in January, but there was a different setup in January, so not all alt seasons are the same. That one was a phenomenal one based on such a high read on the Bitcoin dominance chart, whereas this one, the Bitcoin dominance chart, is historically very low and breaking down at low levels. that's why I don't think it'll last for a very long period of time. I mean, it'll last for as long as it lasts, but you know, it lasts until it hits a support, I would say. So we can't really put a time on it, but I don't think it'll be as glorious as the one we saw in January. But the reason I'm mentioning is that top caps are the ones that are moving first, and so by default this is a top cap coin and it is moving so far from its low. So this was the absolute low to the top. It's an 18-90% move, not massive. There's been obviously a lot of coins that have completely blown that out the water, but it's still a decent move, and we're at this level now, which is the $5.25. Closing a weekly above here should have continuation. The next hallmark is going to be, you know, breaking out of this. Not hallmark. The next milestone should be breaking out of the 20 weekly, which is more or less flat. It's not facing down. It's not dramatically bearish or anything like that. So breaking above here should lead us up to the next level of major resistance, about $7.30, $7.40, give or take. And it's when this area here is reclaimed, tested as support, reclaimed, conquered, that EOS will actually go on to make some really big moves. So there's two areas really. The first area is where we are at right now. We want to see a closure above there. We've got a little area here of the 20 weekly just to give us that extra shove. Then, you know, I would expect a rejection from here, but when this is reclaimed, party begins really for EOS, and we should actually launch pretty quickly, I would say, and take out these previous highs, definitely. Now, if we're thinking about level by level, that is one zone, $10 and $10.50, $10.50. This is, I suppose, you know, it is FOMO wick style, so it's not really as relevant as you might think, to be honest with you. It really isn't that relevant. I would say it's more along the lines of about here. That really is about $14.50, but it's not that clear, to be honest with you. It's really not that clear. I like the idea of letting this one ride, because basically my main entry point was around here, and my original investment was taken out plus double, you know, on this run up. So I am significantly in EOS. You know, I've got quite a lot of them. And I'm happy just to leave it to do its thing. I appreciate that it's a slow horse. You know, it might not win the race, but it will certainly finish the race. And that's what I want to see. But at the moment, yeah, level by level, closure tonight above $5. We'll call it $5.25, but ideally a little bit more would be preferable. But really, you know, I'm not going to get massively bullish for huge moves until we get above $7. We call it $7.40, I would say. And that's when the massive moves will begin, with or without the bullish exchange. We don't really need it. We just need to take out level by level. If we have a look at the way that the MACD is snaking up, it's not as dramatic as others. And again, this is because this is a lagging coin. It just drags behind the market. Money flow index is trickling down slowly and steadily. There's still quite a lot of money in this, but it's obviously leaving still. The volume, that would be, as well. But you know, this wouldn't take a great deal of time to perk up. We have a high money flow index read, the highest one that we have on the Binance chart, at 86, which isn't particularly high, you know, as far as money flow index is concerned. So if this does make a really big aggressive stab once it gets above this level, you know, I would be a bit cautious once we get out of the 80 zone, really, and we'll have to take it, you know, definitely take some profit. Don't be afraid to take profit on this one, because we have to remember what happened here, and we don't want to see that sort of thing happen again. Anyway, I'm going to leave it with you there, but thank you for watching. Like I say, if you want to join the Patreon, links are below, and if you want to subscribe, that's all below as well. Other than that, I hope you have a nice day. Trade safe. Take it easy.